Hello, my name is Devin and this is my vlog. If you've been watching my previous vlogs, then you might have noticed that my background is slightly different. I do not have a green screen, so this is actually what's behind me. My brother is currently using the living room to watch a basketball game that he could watch in his room, while he's on his phone watching a YouTube video and not even paying attention to a basketball game. But he won't get out of the living room, and it's way too loud in there for me to go ahead and record this in there. So I'm currently in my room, and the backdrop is the doors to my closet. I'm glad that I was able to figure out how to get the camera on the computer to be kinda the right height for this, because I'm sitting on a, was it the rolling gamer chairs, like not one with wheels but one where you can go ahead and lean back and it goes in and bend backwards. I don't know how to describe it too much, but I am pretty much sitting like a few inches off the ground, and I'm surprised I was able to adjust the camera height to match with this. My nose itches. If I don't have one issue, I have another one each time, but what can I do? So for today, today was the first day back at school. Started fourth quarter, and my nose, it actually feels like it hurts right now. Not even just an itch, it actually feels pain in it. So today was my first day back at school. It's the first day of the fourth quarter, and it was an odd day. If you watched my previous video, I already explained what that means, but I'll explain it again. An odd day pretty much includes the periods 1, 3, 5, and 7 as the name implied. And I was hoping it wasn't going to be an odd day. Because I wanted to go ahead and do my classwork tomorrow and go ahead and turn it in early for extra credit, but no. Turns out the last day that I had recorded as a day for school in third quarter was actually a day that we didn't have school. So I went in and misunderstood my own calendar. So the last day of school for third quarter was an even day, so it started normally on an odd day. Lucky me. I got some good reactions when I went to school, seeing people need to see what I look like, because most people there haven't seen me with short hair, just in general. And I think the class I enjoyed the most was my calc class, but pretty much everyone reacted to it saying, "Oh my god, he got his hair," and it was amusing. Yeah, there isn't much to say about my day. I went in and started the day off in ceramics. I went in and chose to take ceramics and pottery just to fill in a semester and honestly so I can have an easy class. The only other excuse I can use for why I chose it was so there's a program called Mudbox, and you go ahead and you kind of have to know how to go and pile on layer after layer when it comes to molding on that and sculpting and helping with getting the creative juices flowing. I guess ceramics and pottery was a good idea, but the honest reason I chose it was because I wanted to just fill a period in and just have an extra class. But my first period of the day, ceramics and pottery, I went in and found out that the assignment I was working on, a coil pot, was the grading was done and we didn't need anymore. And at the beginning of the semester, we were given the option of either go ahead and paying, I think, $15 to go ahead and be able to take whatever we make back home and to add glaze to it in school. If not, everything would usually be recycled. We don't get to keep it. It won't even be fired. And I chose if not. So, since the grades were done for the assignment, and since I cannot take it home and I couldn't do anything else with it, I went and chose to go ahead and tear down my my coil pot, tear it apart piece by piece, breaking everything into little ones, and it was a good stress reliever. I went in and my coil pot was kinda the theme of a candy house. I would not say a gingerbread house because it was completely made out of candy, every single piece of it. But all the candy was made out of clay, since it is a ceramics and pottery class. But taking that apart piece by piece was enjoyable. I get to go ahead and take the door, break it in half, pull off the door handle. The huge lollipop I went and made as part of it, I went in, well, I broke the stick off the lollipop by accident, and then after pulling the lollipop out of there, which showed me that I didn't go ahead and do the slip score and everything correctly, because it was easy enough to pull off. But when I pulled off, I found that there was air bubbles in there, and that makes me glad that I don't get an extra grade for firing it because I didn't pay the $15. Because for someone who doesn't want or didn't want to go ahead and bring back what they made in ceramics and pottery, there would be absolutely no good reason to go ahead and, well, pay the $15 for it. Because if you don't want it, then all you're doing is go ahead and making it for yourself to go ahead and just make, and then you go ahead and doing it for a grade. But if you did want to go ahead and keep it, then you would have to pay $15 and go through all that. But you also get an extra grade. If you do pay the $15, you're required to go ahead and add glaze to it, and you're given a second grade that's equal to the same amount as your sculpting grade. And pretty much it's a way that you pretty much put more stress on yourself to make it. I don't understand why someone would agree to do that if they didn't. Stomach issues again. I do not understand why someone would go ahead and agree to make, or to go and pay $15 to get extra stress out of the, well, pretty much a class that is good stress relief. Why would they pay $15 to add stress to it? Yeah, but no one in that class went and reacted to hair change, since the only person in that class that actually talk to, or the only two people, is the teacher and the student aide. And the student aide was not here today, so it was only the teacher. And oh, he had longer hair than me. In the back and the front, he has a huge beard. He looks interesting, I'll say that. And he is interesting to talk to. He has good personality. Yeah. Enough with that class. Third period. Pretty much all we did in calc was review, review, and review. Because at this point in it, we're just preparing for the AP Calculus exam at the end of the year. I'm in the BC level, not the AB level, because I already went to the AB level last year. So there was so much of this year that was just review. But since we've learned all the content that's going to be on the test, now until the exam in a month, I guess, all we're going to be doing is reviewing, reviewing, and reviewing in that class. It's not a bad thing though. Like a class where we actually finish all the content, and well, we get to finish all the content beforehand and then gets to study it. That is a rare type of class. I've gone through so many classes. I think his is the only class, or I think only my calculus class, or classes with my calc teacher this year and last year, are the only ones that I went through all the content that I was supposed to for the exam and then had time to review afterwards. So it's enjoyable, and everyone in that class was in one of my math classes last year, because at BC level there was one class that you can go ahead and take to go ahead and get into BC level, and that's the AP Calc AB. And they had to take it the year before, and since I took it the year before, and there was only 2 classes of it, I knew pretty much everyone from it. And the people who weren't in it from my class were in my ACE Math class, and so I knew everyone in there. But almost none of them knew what I looked like with my hair cut, because I've been going out for over 2 years. And yeah, they were surprised. I'm sorry if this is kinda a sloppy vlog, but I am tired. Yeah. Because in after that, I had 5th period. During 5th period we have lunch, but I had 5th period was stats, then we go and get lunch halfway through, then we go back to stats. But the stats, I could not do any of the notes whatsoever because I couldn't see any of them. I really wish my glasses I have with me actually fit, but they don't. So I'm gonna have to look on my stats teacher's blog later on, or probably tomorrow, and just copy down the notes from last class. I was able to go ahead and listen to the work and just keep on going ahead and doing the work, but I did fall behind because I didn't know what exactly I was supposed to be writing, and I didn't want to just write some mistakes in my notes, because correcting a mistake or just learning incorrectly and then trying to reprogram it so that you know the correct way later on is way harder than just learning it later on and not learning the incorrect way in the first place. So I'm going to be so I skipped going and doing any work that I could have made a mistake with. Okay. Then there was lunch. I uh, I have different lunch periods each day. On odd days, I have lunch in the middle of a class period, and I sit with 3 people. 2 of them, or two of them are juniors. One of them is a senior. The senior is into witchcraft, which to each their own. She likes witchcraft, and I find her personality amusing, though I don't believe in witchcraft whatsoever. I do believe magic could exist, might not exist. I don't honestly know anything about it, but witchcraft in particular, I do not believe in. So she's into witchcraft, paganism, I think it was called, and then the 2 other people I'm sitting with are the juniors. One of them is a girl who, at the beginning of this year, before she started eating lunch with us and hanging out with us, she was, how should I say this? It felt like her personality was a fake personality. What she put out was pretty much a goody two-shoes innocent girl that really doesn't know that much. And now, after just 1 year of hanging out with the 3 of us that she hanging out with during lunch, well, apparently she went and rediscovered her sexuality. She curses way more. She is very loud. Though I do not mean like cursing someone else. Like, I mean she goes and uses words to go ahead, or curse words to make people understand that she is passionate on the topic, or she's excited or stuff like that. Which she gets excited a lot now. Honestly, I think it's was that hanging out with people who are honest about what they are, or who they are, what then made her go ahead and be honest as well, and wasn't hiding her personality. Which I like, but yeah. So she is, I don't really know how to describe her. Her personality is one that I don't know how to describe yet. I guess she is excited and enjoying her new perspective on life, I guess. I don't know how to describe her personality. I really don't. So I'll just leave it at that. And then the last one is a junior, finally the only other guy in the group. And I think he's into drama. I'm not too sure, but I know he likes the senior girl that we sit with. And because of that relationship, they're best friends. Because of that relationship, he grew to like her, and she does not want to hurt him, so she chose not to go ahead and do anything, or she turned him down multiple times, with the reason that she didn't want to go ahead and hurt him because she wanted just a fling or stuff like that. But yeah, against my warnings, she went ahead and, when it comes to flings, or just a non-serious relationship where you're just trying to enjoy yourself, you need to go ahead and be straightforward was the fact that you were not trying to have a relationship. Even though she said she was going to try to do that, she has failed with that and let herself become way more emotionally connected than she ever planned to. And now she goes ahead and accepted the fact of being called this guy's girlfriend, which this is the the junior I'm sitting with, because the reason she kept on rejecting was because she didn't want a serious relationship, and so she didn't want to hurt him because she knew that he would go ahead and get hurt from having a non-serious relationship. So, but then she goes and gets a serious relationship. So, yeah, he was distressed. So lunch was really awkward with him being really ticked off at her, and then me and the junior girl was like just sitting there trying to eat our lunch while they had, or one of them had an emotional breakdown. It was a it was not good lunch. Oh, the food was good. As far as school food goes, it was good, but the lunch is how it felt to go ahead and be, how I enjoyed the lunch period. It was not as enjoyable, especially for the fact that everything was the relationship that they wanted were was. Like with the senior girl, I went and gave her so many warnings, like, if you do this, this will go ahead and cause issues. You need to go ahead and avoid this and this. I warned her so many times over each one of these because I knew what she was going to do. If she continued this, then this would form a real relationship. If she went in and didn't put this straight out, then she would probably go ahead and end up hurting him. And I understand that since I went and had a bad relationship where just pretty much made me go ahead and focus on myself and figure out, okay, what really goes and caused me to think this way, and why the heck did I go ahead and fall for this person? The relationship like that just made that I eventually went and looked into what made me tick and what type of thing, like relationships, how they progress, and I kept on giving warnings. But the issue is, after me trying to explain it, she chose to listen not to my warnings, but the junior girl who is, I don't know how many relationships she's had. I think it's one now, and she took her advice instead of mine, and my advice ended up being correct. And if she went in and actually avoided the things I mentioned, she probably wouldn't have went in and hurt her best friend this much. So this lunch period was one where I just didn't even feel like talking, because I was like, this is what happened. I was honestly just questioning of walking away from the table, but there was a heated argument there, and I did not want it to go ahead and progress too far, so I needed to go ahead and find a way to distract them, and that was not a good lunch period. I hope they go ahead and fix their relationship, not as like loving relationship, I mean fix their friendship, because right now it is ripped up, and as I see it, it's going to get continuously like this point over and over the next few weeks, which is gonna suck for both of them, and it's gonna ruin my lunch. But that's not the main reason why. It's just I wish they went and just thought a little bit more about what the consequences of their actions would be, but some of my friends are not mature enough yet. Okay, after lunch I had 7th period, which was US government. There wasn't much to say about that class. My teacher in that class wanted, and she pretty much gives us the notes and the exact answers to the tests, but we're not allowed to use that, and she tells us where in the note in the textbook it is, tells us which question number in order, and we pretty much have to study and memorize it, so the tests are really easy, but we have to participate, like go ahead and debate with her, argue with her once in a while, which is what actually drives the class. But there wasn't much for me to do this one because today's topic was political parties, and there wasn't too much I could debate about it, since it's a topic that there wasn't much to debate about. Her opinion on them that she kept on saying kinda matched mine, so all I could do was nod sometimes and make one or two random Illuminati jokes, because she set them up. She went and mentioned that there's conspiracies that the world is pretty much being controlled by 1,000 of the richest people, and that they form good pretty much to control and steer the world into their order. And I had to go ahead and reference how that is pretty much similar to what people think of as the Illuminati. And then she went and acted like it's not really like that, but it's more like this Triforce thing. I'm like, you would connect the Illuminati, you deny the Illuminati, but then you mention like this Triforce, like this three group, the Iron Triangle is what it's called, the Iron Triangle. And she really uses a triangle as, or talks about the triangle right after saying no Illuminati. Now let's include the triangle. The humor in that moment was amusing. I wonder if she meant to do that or not. I really hope she did, because it was funny. And a teacher go ahead and including something like that really shows good for their personality. You can't hate a teacher that goes and makes a joke about Illuminati without even mentioning them, but then goes and just shows their ability to reference them. Well, after that, I had to do, after school on Tuesdays, I do math tutoring. I go ahead and help people in whichever subject of math they have, like Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus. My nose really is itching. Okay. Pre-Calculus, Trigonometry, Calculus, Ace Math, etc., etc. Liberal Arts. Pretty much any math that our high school covers, I can now teach. And I not just tutor, but actually teach a full lesson from beginning to end, or a full chapter from beginning to end, because I've gone through all the classes now. Like Algebra 1 I went and did in 8th grade back in middle school. In freshman year I went and did Algebra 2 and Geometry at the same time. And then sophomore year I did Pre-Calculus, but Pre-Calculus included pretty much was pretty much a combination of Algebra 2 and Trigonometry combined. Then junior year I did ACE Math 1 and AP Calculus BC, or AB. And then senior year, which is this year, I did college algebra. I am currently doing AP Statistics and AP Calculus BC. So, and we're at the end. I finished all the content for AP Calculus BC, and we're at the very end of the stats. So I've went over pretty much every single mathematics subject there is in the school. So when it comes to knowing the knowledge needed for tutoring, I have that, and I've been lucky enough that I started tutoring at halfway through last year, and when doing that, I went and started to develop skill in teaching, because practice makes perfect. I got enough time to practice. So after enough practice, I went ahead and became good at tutoring, and since I now know pretty much all the math subjects, I go ahead and tutoring. I go ahead and tutor every single Tuesday, and I don't think it's wrong to say I'm the lead math tutor of the school, since me and my statistics teacher go ahead and pretty much run math tutoring for the school, which can get stressful when a bunch of people shows up to go and learn, but not enough people show up to teach. Those are the frustrating days, but we get through it. So after doing some tutoring today, I went ahead and just drove home. We had Little Caesars today because why did we hit? Well, because my mom didn't feel like going cooking, or she couldn't cook in time for my brother to eat dinner because my brother was leaving early. Yeah. Okay, this is drawing on long enough and I'm already tired. This is probably going to be an awful video to watch. I bet all of my vlogs so far have been extremely cringeworthy. Oh yeah. The final thing I can talk about, I guess, is the discussion-based assessment. I chose to go ahead and just study the lessons leading up to it, and I got the studying done. At 4:30 I went and got my phone call for the discussion-based assessment, and that's when I found out that you need to finish all the assignments leading up to it before you can go ahead and do discussion-based assessment. And because I didn't have all of them done, if we end up rescheduling the discussion-based assessment to Thursday at 4:15. So I have more time to go ahead and study for it, but I have to go ahead and do the two assignments first, which I can't argue with. I was going to do them anyway, but I really wish I got to go ahead and go over it today. But what can you do? Well, obviously not procrastinate so you can get it done, but I'm just trying to stay awake when doing this. I don't know what else to say. Oh yeah, the librarian at my school went ahead and gave me a geometry textbook from last year's geometry textbook, since they just got a new set and they were told to throw them out. So she was nice enough to give me one, or she asked if I want one, and I said, sure, since why not have extra content that you can use to review later on? I know textbooks usually cost a lot of money in college, so the college I'm going to, everything is online, there's no actual textbooks, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I want to have extra textbooks so that I can go ahead and just learn this stuff later. I have, I think, 9 textbooks that are not needed to be returned to the school library. I just get to keep because they were throwing them away over the years I've been in high school, and I just asked, oh, can I have them? And they said yeah. So I got some good textbooks I can go ahead and learn from later on, or use for reviews, which is a more realistic one, is just to review with them. Because a geometry textbook, I'm not going to learn from it, I already know everything in it. And it's a simple level of geometry, just the level that I did in freshman year. So it's not like there really is something that I can learn from it, it's just going to be review. I'm pretty sure I'm just rambling on and saying the same thing over and over again, so I am going to have to end this. Thank you for watching. This video became way too long, but too bad. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.